The soft glow of morning light crept through the curtains of Ruth Langsford's Surrey home, illuminating the quiet stillness that had settled there. Once, mornings were filled with the cheerful sound of Eamonn Holmes' laughter echoing from the kitchen, the sizzle of breakfast, and their playful debates about the day's news. But lately, the laughter had faded. Something heavier hung in the air, something neither of them could ignore any longer. It had begun weeks ago, a simple ache in Eamonn's back that refused to go away. He'd brushed it off, insisting it was just a touch of age, but Ruth had seen the pain behind his smile. He would wince when he thought she wasn't looking, gripping the counter for support. She begged him to see a doctor, and after much persuasion, he finally agreed. That morning, as they sat in the doctor's office, Ruth's hand rested over his, trembling slightly. Eamonn tried to be brave, offering a small smile to reassure her. "I'm fine, darling. Probably just too many years sitting on studio chairs." But deep down, he was afraid. When the doctor began to speak, the world seemed to shrink. Words like tests, concern, and further examination filled the air, each one heavier than the last. Ruth's heart pounded in her chest. She clung to hope, convincing herself it was nothing serious. But that fragile hope began to crack as the days passed and Eamonn's condition worsened. At home, she watched him grow weaker. The once lively broadcaster who could light up a room with his wit now moved slower, spoke softer, and often retreated into silence. Still, he never complained. Instead, he focused on comforting her. "Ruthie," he said one evening, his voice faint but warm, "I've always been the strong one. You carry me through every storm. You always have." Tears filled his eyes. "Don't say that, Eamonn. We're getting through this together. We always do." He smiled, a flicker of the man she fell in love with. "You know, I've been thinking about all the mornings we've shared on TV, all the laughter, the chaos. I wouldn't trade a single second of it, not one." Ruth couldn't hold back her tears any longer. She turned away, hiding her face in her hands. "Please don't talk like that," she whispered. But Eamonn reached out, taking her hand. "I'm not giving up, love. I just want you to know how much you mean to me, in case I don't get to say it enough." That night, Ruth sat by his bedside, unable to sleep. The gentle rhythm of his breathing was a comfort and a reminder of how fragile life had become. Memories flooded her mind. The first time they met on set, the laughter that filled their early days, their wedding, the family dinners, the holidays. Every moment felt like a precious thread woven into their story. When dawn came, Ruth decided she wouldn't let fear win. She called his doctors, arranged new consultations, and reached out to specialists. "We're not done fighting," she told him firmly. "You hear me? We've still got shows to do, places to go, and too much life to live." Eamonn looked at her, his eyes soft but full of pride. "That's my Ruth, always the boss." As weeks passed, the road was far from easy. Long hospital visits, sleepless nights, and moments of quiet despair. Yet through it all, their love grew even stronger. Ruth became his rock, and Eamonn, even in pain, became her strength. Fans from around the country sent messages of love and support, lighting up social media with words of encouragement. One day as they sat together, watching an old clip of themselves hosting This Morning, Ruth laughed through her tears. "Look at us, arguing about biscuits on live TV. What were we thinking?" Eamonn clapped softly. "We were being us. That's what people loved." In that moment, something shifted. The fear that had gripped her heart loosened, replaced by gratitude. No matter what the future held, Ruth knew they had lived a life full of love, laughter, and meaning, and that was something illness could never take away. As the sun set outside their window, Ruth leaned her head on his shoulder, their fingers intertwined. "We'll get through this," she whispered again. Not as a promise, but as a truth. Eamonn smiled, his eyes glistening. "We already are." And in that quiet moment, surrounded by love, Ruth realized that even in the face of uncertainty, their story was still being written, not with despair, but with hope.